Mayo. Front office is Cesario, Ziegler, Groh, Wolf. I don't know who all those guys. I know Cesario.
Me either.
But
and Nick Frazier, throw him
Yeah,
in there too as well.
Dr. Crane.
Yeah, why not? I mean, let's do it. And then I think you need to now with Levis build it around an offensive-minded head football coach.
Okay.
I think you have to. I think you need to build it around an offensive coach, get a coordinator, you analyze his strengths, and you go forward.
What if a certain someone in Atlanta is available?
All day.
You bring him
I
home?
love Arthur Smith. I do.
As the head coach.
Especially when we went off on Kurt Warner this weekend. So, yeah, I do. Why not?
I wouldn't hate that because I agree. I think you have to have an offensive mind. They've Vrabel's a defensive-minded coach, and that's what they did. And they brought in LaFleur initially to kind of be the offensive guy, and he was here for a year. I'd consider that, or because look, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Mike Vrabel is probably going to be the head coach next year of the Tennessee Titans. But if it did happen, I would get everything I could out of New England and then build around Levis and start over and basically say, yeah, you're rebuilding and go through it. And if you do it right, which I'll say this, I don't know if I trust them to do it right.
Right.
Like, I could see them screwing this up. Like, who's to say that Amy Adams Strunk somewhere along the line doesn't get mad like she did with John Robinson and, like, here's all these reports, and so then she's thinking, oh, he's talking to Kraft and all that stuff and get mad and fire him, and then you get nothing for him.
I don't think she's that dumb.
I hope not, but I mean, like, we didn't expect her to fire John Robinson when she did.
True, and then when it came out, it was like, holy cow. No, I think you play the season out, see how it goes, and if Kraft really wants Vrabel, which obviously we've known he's done for a long time, yeah, I got something you want. What are you going to give me? And now the Titans have it all in their hands, and get as much as you can for him. Yeah, as much as you can.
I agree. And then my question would be, how much is Belichick going to be completely out, or is Belichick
special advisor or something?
You know,
I mean, they're terrible. I mean, he hadn't made the playoffs.
Because but if I'm Vrabel, I almost don't want that. Like, I don't want Belichick breathing over my shoulder.
It'd have to be somebody you know as a GM that you work with. And I tell you, y'all made fun of us when Vrabel went to New England, but his mannerisms, his speech, everything was like, this is home.
Let me just throw this out. What if they brought in John Robinson? What if it was John Robinson and Mike Vrabel in New England? How would Titans fans react to that?
Robinson's got history with the Patriots.
He's got a ton of history with the Patriots.
Oh, my goodness.
How crazy would that be?
The Chase and Big Joe show. Hypotheticals all day.
Oh, we love hypotheticals.
Oh, my
and then
goodness.
here, I'll throw one more thing at you, and I'll give Ricky credit for this because this was his idea. Because I said Arthur Smith, and he goes, what if you brought Art back as the OC and Jim Schwartz as the head coach?
No. Art Smith's not going to. Once you're a head coach, you don't want to go back to being.
Yeah, but he's probably going to have to. If he gets fired in Atlanta, he's not.
Arthur Blank really likes him.
I know, but
Really
I don't,
likes
and I don't think they should fire him because it's not all his fault.
No.
They haven't found a quarterback.
No, but I think you need to go out. If Vrabel does leave, you find an offensive mind quarterback coach, and you got with an offensive coordinator who's on the same page.
Look, it'll be somebody from San Francisco. If it's Rand Carthon making the hire, it'll be somebody from San Francisco.
Oh, I mean, he's got something to do now. Well,
yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. 615-737-1025. We love living in hypotheticals.
Oh my
That's
goodness!
What we
all
do.
day.
That's what we do. It's the Chase and Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Predators fans, Brewhouse South in Cool Springs, Brewhouse Highway 100 in Bellevue, and Brewhouse West on Charlotte Avenue is your home for hockey action all season long. They are Predators approved and all the games are on, and they'll even give you the sound. Get awesome game day drink specials on Blue Note Bourbon and Black Abbey Beer. When you think hockey, think Brewhouse South in Cool Springs, Brewhouse Highway 100 in Bellevue, or Brewhouse West on Charlotte Avenue. Go Preds! Nashville's Best Deals is a great place to save cash fast. Get up to half off or more on dining and entertainment at thegamenashville.com/deals. Check back often for new featured deals and save money now at thegamenashville.com/deals.
All of us at 102.5 and 106.3 The Game want to recognize our active military, veterans, first responders, and educators with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air,
Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Now, your Game Center update.
This Game Center Update is brought to you by Gary Force Acura, proud sponsor of your Nashville Predators. This is Nick Frazier. Over the weekend, the Nashville Predators got a big win over Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. It was goal galore for the Preds as they put 5 past Jack Campbell. Current point leader for the Preds, Philip Forsberg, opened up the scoring for the team as he tied things up at 1 after the first. Ryan O'Reilly started things off in the second period with a slap shot goal to give the Preds a lead. Then later on in the period, it was O'Reilly again with another slap shot. O'Reilly went on to cap off his incredible night with a hat trick in the third period. O'Reilly finished his night as the first star of the game with 4 points. It's O'Reilly's 8th career game with 4 or more points. The Preds' next game is tomorrow at the Saddle Dome, taking on the Calgary Flames. We will get you ready with our pregame coverage starting at 7 and puck drop to follow at 8. News in college football, the MTSU Blue Raiders lost in a close one over the weekend to the New Mexico State Lobos 13-7. This was the Blue Raiders' 7th loss of the season and are now out of contention for a bowl game. I'm Nick Frazier, and you're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 102.5 The Game or visit theGameNashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
79-52 Vanderbilt.
I think he's going to coach him up by Cheryl.
You're going to see more moves.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Let me talk to you.
Talking what's important to Nashville.
Sweet mother of God, what is the holdup?
This is the Chase and Big Joe Show.
Well, Lottie frickin' God.
With Chase McCabe and Big Joe Dubin. Brought to you by Regal Realty Group.
Good, great, grand, wonderful.
We're here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin here on this Monday. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your day. Big weekend in football, both college and the NFL, and big weekend for the Predators. Big 5-2 win over the Edmonton Oilers. Cal O'Reilly with the Hattie. Right now proving to be Barry Trotz's best signing as a general manager. Bringing in, did I say Cal O'Reilly? Ryan O'Reilly. Wrong O'Reilly. Cal's in Milwaukee, but Ryan O'Reilly getting the hat trick this weekend. So very, very cool there. But a lot of you weighing in on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, about Mike Vrabel. Edmund from Clarksville, I think y'all are absolutely nuts to say yes to Vrabel going to New England for picks. This man brought us back to respectability.
No,
he's
he
a hell of a
didn't.
coach, and we know what we got.
No, he did not do that. I'm sorry. Mike Mularkey did this. And it's just the fact that they wanted to blow over Mike Mularkey is just really insane. Mike Mularkey took over a team in 2015, which was terrible. Built them confidence. Got a good draft in 16 with John Robinson. Had them win their first playoff game on the road in 14 seasons. And then realized that, Robinson for some reason didn't like him. And I know Terry Rabisky, and I get all that stuff, but Mularkey needs and deserves a lot of credit for this football team and getting them back to kind of where they are now. I mean, he doesn't get credit for what they're doing now in the last couple of years, but
Sure.
when Vrabel walked in that door in 18-19, hell, Malarkey was just as much a part of the football team as Vrabel was.
People don't realize that, like it got to a point with Jeff Fisher where it was time. And I think anybody would tell you that it got to that,
Yep.
They made the run in 2008 and then came back down to earth. And by the time he left at the end of the 2010 season, it was like, it's time. It's been a great run. He's the only coach that, you've ever had, and it's time. Munchak never gets the job if there's not a lockout. I don't think Munchak is the head coach. I think that the only reason Munchak got that opportunity was they knew that it was going to be really hard to, try and do what they wanted to do because the lockout was looming and, with free agency and it was the draft.
Yeah.
So let's just promote a guy that's been a good soldier and he's been, a great assistant coach and been with the organization for a long time. Let's just give him a shot. And that's no disrespect to Mike Munchak, but I never viewed him as he was a head coach. He was just a good, loyal guy. And they were respectable at times, but Munchak, made the mistake of, Chris Palmer was a terrible hire and, he had I think Jerry Gray was okay, but, had some guys that he brought in that, just weren't what they needed to be. And then the Whisenhunt era was terrible, and that set the franchise back.
It did.
And Malarkey helped pull them out of that. So I agree that Malarkey doesn't get enough credit. Vrabel deserves credit too, for what he's done, but he got to one AFC championship game. That's his highlight. His highlight is getting to the AFC championship game. They won the division. Okay, that's good. But I'm not gonna sit here and anoint him, even though I do think he's a good head coach. There have certainly been some missteps, some not all his fault.
Mm-hmm.
There were some bad draft picks. Clearly, this organization didn't know how to navigate COVID when it comes to evaluating players. So that's not all on him. But I look at it, too, in big picture, that if you have a team that's going to offer you multiple high draft picks for your head coach, you have to look to the future and look at the holes you have on this football team. And you have to take that.
No,
you have to take that draft. Because you could hypothetically, we love hypotheticals.
We do.
Have 2 picks in the top 10 in this year's draft. And this is a good draft class. You can work on your offensive line. You could find a receiver. You could find a lot of things, So I certainly think you have to consider it. I'm not saying you ultimately have to do it, but you have to consider it.
Well, and that too. And I don't go back to the Malarkey point for a little bit, but I just tweeted that out. I mean, I just don't understand why he just does not get, the 16 and 17 and going in the playoffs and beating Kansas City over there. And I know it was before Mahomes, but what he did for this football team, because
Mahomes was in that game.
Alex Smith was a quarterback. Mahomes was a rookie that year. He didn't play much in the 17 game. Remember
the playoff game?
Yeah.
I thought that was Mahomes.
In 17?
I believe it was Mahomes, yeah.
I thought Alex Smith played that game.
No, because Mahomes rushed for a touchdown in the left corner of the end zone. I remember one of the Titans linebackers missing it. Yeah.
Am I missing the point on that? I thought it was all Alex Smith and Mahomes was not who he was.
2018, or it was January 2018.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. It was Alex Smith.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm very rarely right, and I'm right now. Yep. So hit the sounder, Nick.
Yep.
I don't know. I know sounders. That's all right. No, I remember, and then Kelsey got knocked out.
Kelsey got knocked out, and that changed the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, he got knocked out. I mean, he thought he was dating Taylor Lautner from Twilight movies and not Taylor Swift.
Save that one. That's going on a promo.
He got laid out, but no. And then they go to New England and they played their tails off in that game. Corey Davis had a nice game up there, and then Malarkey after the Kansas City game came out and said, "I'm not getting the support I need." And we're like, "What the hell's going on? You just beat Kansas City." And then I was at the press conference in Foxborough. It was odd. He knew he was done after that, and went away and they hired Vrabel and went on like that. But I mean, Malarkey handed Vrabel a stacked football team in 2018, and it carried on.
Now, I will say this. Malarkey doesn't get enough credit, but I don't fault John Robinson for making the decision that he made, because I do think that they had hit the ceiling with Malarkey. that Mularkey was the guy that could fix the culture, but then not moving on from Rubisky and being stubborn there. Like I think that ultimately cost him his job, and so I didn't hate the move, and I didn't hate the move of hiring Vrabel. Just like I still think like if it comes out that Mike Vrabel is going to be the head coach of the Tennessee Titans next year, I'll be like, okay. Now, what are you going to do to fix the problems you have now?
Correct.
And, stop being an a-hole every time you get to the microphone because you got all the answers.
Because it drives us crazy. Just keep doing that and all that goes on with that. But I think I think there are some legs to this Patriots story. And I
definitely think there are legs to it.
And I think if given, he would go to New England. And I don't blame him. If that's where he feels comfortable and that's where he played football and that feels like home to him, good for him. But get all you can back.
All you can.
And build this football team. Then you go on the search for a new coach, and then I'll bring that new coach in, interview him, and say, look, here's the deal. What's your philosophy with Will Levis? He's our quarterback for the next decade. What's your philosophy? What do you want to do with him? And then you find a coach based off of that.
Yep. So, but a long way to go. Okay, so Bradford's asking, hypothetically, what's high draft picks? Like what? First, second, and third? What is Mike Vrabel worth in y'all's eyes, hypothetically? It would be, I've used the compensation for Gruden. When Gruden was traded from the Raiders to the Bucs in 2002, it was 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and $8 million. That's the compensation.
Okay.
I think it's got to be somewhere in there.
And that was 20 years ago, too. So
yeah.
I have something you want bad.
Right. So you're getting, I want their first next year, which is going to be a high pick.
Yeah, so I'm calling the shots, not you. You can offer me all the stuff you want, but I'm telling you what I want. And I want a first rounder next year. Give me that Gruden deal. I'll take, for example, give me the Gruden deal.
If they did the Gruden deal straight up, take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Gruden wouldn't win a Super Bowl the next year with Tony Dungy's players, but
right. Well, and that's the difference.
It happens, but at the time, you got a coach. You want to win the Super Bowl, and you won the Super Bowl. You can't predict the future that goes on.
So, did they fire Dungy?
Yes,
and then he went to Indy.
Yep.
Okay.
And then won Super Bowl in 2006 with
with Peyton.
Yeah, with all that.
By the way, Peyton's got a funny video on Instagram where he's calling Arnold Schwarzenegger because Schwarzenegger is going to be on the Manning Cast tonight.
Okay.
And it's actually pretty funny.
Is it?
Yeah.
Good. That's the first time I'd laugh at something on that show in weeks. I'm done with the Manning Cast.
You're a curmudgeon when it comes
I
to
am,
that.
aren't I? I hate scripted stuff like that. It's so scripted because when they're like having a good time, then Eli's like, hey, Chase, tell me about the one time when you went to Red Rocks and saw the Foo Fighters and got really drunk. I mean, it's so scripted. I'm like, it was better and was off the cuff and went haywire.
Tell me about that Red 18. You know that story, right?
No.
McAfee. So McAfee's in a casino. He's with a bunch of people and they're playing roulette. And Peyton walks by and he looks at him and he goes, "Hey Pat, how about that Red 18?" and gives him a wink in the gun.
Yeah.
And so Pat goes, "Okay," and he takes all his chips.
No way.
Puts it on Red 18. The entire table then takes all their chips, puts on Red 18 because Peyton said do it, and sure enough, Red 18 hits.
I do not for 1 second believe that story. Are you serious?
Peyton has said it's true. McAfee has said it's true. There have been people that were at the table that have said it is absolutely 100% true.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a great story. But Peyton be like, how about that Red 18?
Hey, man, what's the Red 18?
Real quick, Michigan has been waiting patiently. He wants to weigh in on some MTSU football. Michigan, what's up?
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Hope you had a lovely weekend. Happy Monday to you. Joe, not to make you defend here, but I gotta have some thoughts. So a little background. I'm an MTSU alumni, so is my wife. I'm a BRA member. My son's going to go to MTSU. I'm a little downtrodden about the current state of the football program, and I just kind of want to give a couple of data points here.
Sure.
And then I'll let you guys respond. I'm not 100% sure what the football program is trying to be. Obviously, they're trying to win. And I don't mean it at that level. But there's a lot of discussion about building the program up to a certain level. And the things that disturb me are the product on the field, and particularly the coaching seems to be a little bit amiss and maybe a little bit tired. And what I mean by that is it's a lot of the same stuff that was working when Brett was under center, right? It's a lot of horizontal passing game.
Right.
The team just feels a little slow, a little out of step, and looking at where we were, I don't know, 8 to 10 years ago, right? Even going back so far as to say, hey, this program left the Sun Belt for what they thought at the time were brighter pastures. That turns out to maybe not have been the greatest decision, because I would say the Sun Belt's doing better than CUSA is right now.
Yeah.
In most athletics, definitely in football. If you look at App State and James Madison and some of the other schools that are there. And I like Rick very much. I'm not someone who's been on the bandwagon ever of get rid of Stockstill, this sort of thing. But I just don't know what the plan is. And it feels like there isn't one. This is a team that just looks really slow and really unprepared. I mean, 18 days off and to go out there and score 7 points is pretty tough, is a really, really rough look for a D1 football program. And you compare it to the other programs on campus. Men's and women's basketball start up tonight. I'm going to be there. Women's basketball is going to go to the tournament again, I think. Men's basketball beat FAU last year, which they were the last team to beat FAU before San Diego State did in the Final Four. Women's softball almost beat Alabama and went to, a super regional. The men's baseball team's doing a lot better. Women's soccer just won the CUSA. I just feel like this part of the athletic program is falling out of step. And you look at some of the comments on social media, and it's a lot of apathy and a lot of apathy built out of, I think, a decade plus now of mediocrity being the ceiling. And that's a tough pit to dig yourself out of once you get in it. And that's kind of my 2 cents. I don't really have any answers, just a lot of questions. I don't work in an athletic department.
Sure.
I work in another field, but I wanted to give you guys a chance to respond. I appreciate the time. Joe, I love everything you do. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, Michigan. Appreciate the call.
Let's respond on the other side.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that for sure, because I have some thoughts on that too. I'm a proud MTSU alum, and obviously want good things for the university and for stock.
Mm-hmm.
So we will discuss that coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Every Wednesday at 8:30. Come on. Join Robbie and Rexroad for The Choice is Yours.
2 sports questions, 2 non-sports questions.
They'll answer a couple of questions about life and sports. The Choice is Yours is built by Jarrett Companies. You have a choice. So when you have a need for site and utility work, fire protection, concrete and asphalt services, the choice is simple. It's Jarrett Companies. For more, visit JarrettCompaniesInc.com. The Choice is Yours. Wednesdays at 8:30 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
When the festive bells ring and everyone gathers round, make sure your home's ready for it. From flickering lights to chilly nights to busted pipes, Lee Company is here to help. Heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, or any fix-up you need, we've got the experts ready. Head over to LeeCompany.com. That's LeeCompany.com. Remember, Lee Company, all you need, so you can enjoy the holidays worry-free.
Yo, check this out.
Porvu. Imagine a wonderland, vast as the eye can see. We're talking a whopping 10,000 square feet, stocked with wine, spirits, and over 1,500 beers from around the globe. And if that's not enough, they've got you covered with a massive horde of ready-to-guzzle cocktails like High Noon.
Well, saddle up, partner. It's Porvu, the adult equivalent of a candy store. Open from 9 to 9 Monday through Saturday and from 10 to 6 on Sundays, too. Not leaving your sofa during the next big game? No worries, my jersey-wearing couch potato. You can place your orders at porvu.us or download their super snazzy app.
Just picture hockey night. He shoots, he scores, we toast.
We're talking about a good old round of tequila shots, of course.
Tequila!
Porvu has it all. Tequila is always a big hit, just like Uncle Frank at the family parties.
Wine, spirits, beers, mixers, barware, gifts, party supplies, and more.
Curbside pickup at absolutely zero charge, mind you, and home delivery.
Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville, just off Vietnam Vets, exit 7.
Porvu. It's all Frenchy and fancy, meaning for you.
Score!
Mark your calendars, Nashville. This Veterans Day, step back in time at Centennial Park. The Kiwanis Club is hosting a World War I remembrance. Hear from historical architect Kem Hinton, Colonel Stephen Todd, and actress Jennifer O'Neill, a staunch veteran advocate. Join us at the Mother Monument November 11th at 1 p.m. Then step back in time with a World War I reenactment camp by the 9th Kentucky Infantry Regiment. And don't forget, food trucks will be on site for your appetite. Remember, honor, celebrate. This Saturday, 1 p.m., join the Kiwanis Club of Nashville, a community pillar since 1916, for a Veterans Day celebration. Witness history come alive in Centennial Park. Don't miss it this November 11th. The Kiwanis Club, anchoring community, celebrating valor.
Get in on the conversation at 615-737-1025. The game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there. And around there. And even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
In any work environment, culture is the most important thing. And what makes up the culture? The people. Hey, this is General Manager Sean Ford with Cromwell Media. And this month, we have several celebrating their anniversary working with us. From our sales department, Nicola Spencer is celebrating 19 years. From engineering, Ted and Holly, 13 years. And Willie Donick with 1025 The Game is celebrating 12 years with us at Cromwell Media. If you're looking for a new career, reach out to us at together@cromwellmedia.com. Love what you do, love where you work.
This is the Chase and Big Joe Show, brought to you by Regal Realty Group.
Coach, didn't you say at the beginning of the season that we should be really fat? No, I said fast. Oh, damn!
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin hanging out with you on this Monday. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. Speaking of MTSU, tune into 93.3 Classic Hits tonight for MTSU's men's basketball. The Blue Raiders will start their season tonight at home against Northern Kentucky. Pregame at 7 with the tip-off at 7:30. Coverage also available on the 93.3 Classic Hits app and 93.3classichits.com. Again, hard to believe basketball season, but Michigan called in and wanted our opinions on MTSU football and Rick Stockstill. They fall this weekend in New Mexico State. No, they're not going to be bowl eligible this year. Only 2 wins on the season to this point. And I've heard you say it. You've obviously been a part of it this year, being their color analyst. You've seen every game. You've studied every game, and it's a situation where they're not winning the games, but the record doesn't tell the whole story to the program. I think they're a better football team than their record shows, but I understand, you get to a point as a fan base where you want more.
Yeah.
But what I will tell you is they've won bowl games the last 2 years. They won 8 games last year, 7 the year before that, with victories in the Hawaii Bowl and the Bahamas Bowl. That's nothing to be upset with by any means. I mean, I think there are a lot of programs around the country that would love to be able to say that they can go to a bowl game every year. And Stock has been very consistent in that during his, 18 years at MTSU. 10 of those, they've made it to a bowl game. That's a pretty good percentage.
It is. And they've lost 4 one-score games. I mean, and then the Jacksonville State game, they had the law up 23-7. They were a drop pass up 30-7, and Jacksonville State came back and blew them out in the second half. Look, and I get it. The record is what the record is. I understand that, and they're frustrated. They're upset too, and they want to win. Here's the deal: if you don't have people like Michigan calling in and nobody cares, then you got a problem. The fact that people care about the program and care, these alumni around middle that care about what's going on. And you can voice your concerns on it. I totally understand it, and nobody, is hurting more than that coaching staff and those players right now. And I get it. You go through bad seasons, bad things happen. This, unfortunately, football will drive you crazy. And this year, this football team for MTSU has driven them crazy. They've played really bad at bad moments, a lot of self-inflicted wounds, and reflects in a record of 2-7. That they're not, and people laugh at me. This is not a 2-7 football team.
Yeah,
they're not.
They're not.
Not. So what's the future? I don't know. I can't. I don't predict things. I don't know on that level what goes on. So we'll see what happens. And they'll reevaluate it as they always do at the end of the season and look forward to 24.
I think every program does this every year, and that is the end of the season. You know, the coach sits back and thinks, okay, how did I do? You know, what do I want?
Yeah.
Especially somebody that's been there as long as Rick Stockstill has been and has been doing this as long as he has.
Yep.
He does self-evaluation and evaluates where he's at in his career and his life. The program goes, okay, where are we, you know, as a school? Obviously, they have a lot of exciting things happening there with renovations and, you know, putting more money than they've put into athletics in a long time. And it's going to be awesome when it's all done. I mean, the university as a whole is in a very good place.
It is
right now.
It is,
and you obviously want to see that. What Chris Massaro and his staff have done in raising money and you know, doing this project, I think is fantastic. And so, you know, they have to look at, all right, well, where are we and what do we think about where we're going, and have those big picture conversations. And I'm sure they will do that.
Well,
I'm like you. I can't predict the future. I don't know where it's going to be. I think, you know, you certainly have to weigh all the good things that Rick has done, and I'm sure they'll do that.
And plus, you know, they had 2 one-score losses to 2 top 25 teams, which they could have easily beaten. So,
like, we took about Missouri, they could have won that game.
Yep, and then Liberty now is in the top 25.
Yep.
They played their tails off against Liberty. So it just happens. That's why football drives us crazy. The games like that you go for and you play, and things don't turn out your way. But, yeah, I mean, they'll do some self-evaluation, what happens into the season, and they look for what's best for next year. And, look, there's nobody upset right now more than Rick Stockstill is. If you're talking to him on the game on Saturday night, I mean, upset. I mean, you should never accept losing on any level whatsoever. This team, the defense played their tails off Saturday night. I mean, they played their tails off Saturday night. And now they got 3 games left in the season. And they just, you know, you want to go out and win those 3 and then set a foundation for 24. All you can do.
I know one thing. It was an interesting weekend in college football. I think on Friday I said I felt like Washington would beat USC.
Yep, you did.
They did.
You did.
USC's overrated.
They are.
I did laugh at Caleb Williams saying he wanted to go home and cuddle with his dog and watch the shows.
What was the thing? His jumped in the stands with his mom? I don't know.
Yeah,
That was just weird.
That was cool. I got no issue with that.
Okay.
And anybody that criticizes that young man for that, let's fight. Like, I will fight you on this.
I don't know the whole I just saw that he jumped in the stands.
He was very distraught after they lost. And his mom was sitting in the stands, and he jumped in the stands and basically hugged his mom, and you know, was just holding his mom, and his mom was comforting him. I have no problem. I don't care how old you are, and I know you talk about this all the time. You wish you could give your mom one more hug.
I'm a mama's boy. I don't care.
I wish I could give my dad one more hug.
Yep.
Like that. I have no issue with that. You know, that to me is showing the human side.
Yes.
That sometimes we still need mama.
Yep.
You know?
Okay.
So that's what that was, and I had no problem with that. But and there's a lot of discussion with him of, okay, like, you know, you're going to be a high draft pick. You're probably still going to be the number 1 overall pick. Is it worth it to continue to play? Now, I am one of those that I believe you finish what you started, and so I think he should continue the season and finish it out and see it through, and I feel like that's what he's going to do. But a lot of people are advising him and saying, like, hey, man, shut it down. Get ready for the draft.
Oh,
I would hate that. That would be bad for college football, I think.
I mean,
it's a bad look.
Yeah, and you know, I had a problem with guys sitting out bowl games. I understand it. You just get somebody else get the opportunity to get up there and do that. That's the age we live in now.
Yeah.
That's what it's hard to imagine going back and having Bo Jackson sit out the Cotton Bowl his senior year, or, you know, if you're not playing for a national championship, on the players to sit out and do that. And I get it, and I understand it. There's a lot there. It's just hard to swallow that pill of coming up, of watching these guys play so hard for 4 years and like, nah, I'm not gonna play the bowl game, because the bowl game is the reward, and not seeing them play in a bowl game is tough. And, you know, college football is funny, man. You look at, like, Colorado. I mean, Deion's throwing out every positive vibe he can to keep people on board, and, you know, now they're 4-5, some really bad losses down the way, and I don't know. It's just that's what we love about football, man. Each week it changes. It's our soap opera. It drives us crazy.
Yep, for sure. Coming up next, we'll talk to Jonathan Hutton from Outkick, Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow. We'll get his thoughts on the Titans and the NFL. Coming up next, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
If it's important to Nashville,
I'll put it out right now.
it's important to Jared Stillman.
Like, that's it.
He's not afraid to ask the tough questions.
Something is going on, and the question is, what does it mean?
Or give the strong opinion.
And just needed the bozo offensive coordinator to stop ruining the quarterback.
Stillman and Company. Weekdays at 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. It's getting colder quickly, and a lot of you are probably firing up the heater for the first time this season. If your system is older or having lots of issues keeping your home warm already, it's probably time for an HVAC replacement. There's no better time to replace your system than right now. Hiller is having their biggest sale ever on select HVAC systems. Get up to $2,600 off a new system until November 15th. This is the biggest discount they've had in years. That's Hiller. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Join the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce on December 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th for an exclusive look into what makes Nashville the IT city. Whether you're new to town or a Nashville native, Intro Nashville gives you the opportunity to become engaged and connected to our city's community. During this multi-day immersive program, you will hear from over 20 community leaders and industry experts whose storytelling unlocks a comprehensive view of our city and region. Gain historical and economic perspective on Nashville while establishing relationships with local business leaders. Space is limited. Register now at intronash.com.
Get ready for a magical holiday experience at Belmead Historic Site and Winery. Join us for our free holiday open house Thursday, November 16th from 5 till 8 p.m. Meet Santa and Mrs. Claus, tour our enchanting mansion, and delight in holiday crafts and activities for the whole family. Treat yourself with our renowned wines and bourbon from Belmead Winery and savor foods from the Belmead Meat and 3. Let's create cherished memories that will last a lifetime at Belmead Historic Site and Winery. Only 7 miles from downtown Nashville. Reserve online at visitbelmead.com.
ABC Wednesday. It's country music's biggest night. The CMA Awards, live. With performances by Luke Bryan, Lainey Wilson, Jelly Roll, and K. Michelle. Old Dominion with Megan Maroney. Carly Pierce featuring Chris Stapleton. Tanya Tucker with Little Big Town. And more.
The best in country music!
Luke Bryan and Peyton Manning host.
The CMA Awards, live.
Wednesday, 8/7 Central on ABC. And stream next day on Hulu.
With your choice of select sandwich, nugs, fries, and a drink, Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag is your go-to. Your nugget wingman. Your hot and crispy fry co-pilot.
Just like us. We're like the Bag Boys.
What?
Bag Boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
For a deal you can count on, bet on Biggie and choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Bag Boys.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes choice of JVC or crispy chicken sandwich with 4-piece nugs, junior fry, and small soft drink. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
Hey, we're all over social media. Give us a follow on Twitter at 1025 The Game. I'm at Chase on Game.
Yeah, catch me on MySpace at Big. We still have MySpace?
No, we're not. I told you.
Twitter. I had Big Joe on the go.
Chase and Big Joe are on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. Just seen this, Paul Kaharski, paulkaharski.com, and probably some others putting out that looks like Nicholas Petit-Frere will have shoulder surgery after he suffered an injury in Pittsburgh. Unclear if it will end his season, but with 9 games left in the season, it could be difficult for him to come back. So Nicholas Petit-Frere looks like he is on the shelf. Let's say hello now to Jonathan Hutton from Outkick, Hot Mic with Hutton and Withrow, weekdays from 2 to 5 on 94.9 The Fan. Hut, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning, guys. Hope all is well on your end.
Yep, doing great, and glad to be able to talk with you. Obviously a lot to unpack. I want to start with the report out of Boston, the Boston Globe, that the home run hire for Robert Kraft to replace Bill Belichick, if he decides to do so, would in fact be Mike Vrabel, a former player of his, and obviously has had a good coaching career here in Tennessee. I've thrown out that if the Titans wanted to entertain that at all, to me it would have to be pretty much the same package that the Raiders and Bucks worked out for John Gruden 20 years ago, which was two firsts, 2 seconds, and then some money. And the money doesn't matter as much to me. That's more money in the kitty, but it's the draft picks. Do you think that there's any truth to this? Are there legs to this story, and could it actually happen?
I mean, Ben Volen has been there quite a while, and he's not just going to flippantly throw this out there. Look, I think the common sense connections, we all, if you read this from our perspective here in Nashville, you're thinking back to what we saw visually with his Patriots Hall of Fame induction, right? Sitting in the booth, all that, in the box with Kraft. I think from the Patriots end, just because they gave the extension to Belichick that was announced just prior to the game we're talking about when Vrabel was there, there's still very much a scenario where he could be out at the end of the year via a trade himself. I thought for a while, even last year and then into this offseason, there has been this weird storyline brewing behind the scenes about Kraft and Belichick. Kraft mentioning that they haven't won a playoff game in a while, and it dates back previously to the Titans. They went to the playoffs, of course, rookie year for Mac Jones, but they were boat raced in that. So he's making mention of that. And with all the reports about the contract extension and when it happened, it apparently happened this offseason, but it doesn't sound like it's, tacked on many years to the whole thing. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's a little friction, kind of like Brady and Belichick, except now it's Kraft and Belichick. And I always thought, I don't know if you guys think this, that Bill O'Brien's there because of Robert Kraft, not because of Bill Belichick and the coaches that he brought in last season, not this year. From New England's end, Vrabel makes a ton of sense. From the Titans' stance, I think it would be a mistake to let Mike Vrabel go. If we're just talking just straight hypothetical trade. With all that being said, it's more about the relationship, guys, between Mike Vrabel and Amy Adams Strunk than it is the relationship between Robert Kraft and Mike Vrabel. Just keep all of that in mind as these rumors and questions and radio talk show debates come about. And I immediately thought when I'm reading this, if Vrabel handles this the way he's been handling the questions about quarterback, this isn't going away anytime soon.
Yeah, and that's my thing, because this is going to come up. I mean, you worked with somebody that's probably going to bring it up with him. So I mean, it's how does he choose to go about it, and he's got to be careful in how he answers things too. I get it, but you can't just slough it off like he likes to do a lot of things.
Well, and keep in mind, like he signed the contract extension when Robinson did. They've got, Robinson was let go the same year as the contract extension was laid out. So, yeah, you have to trade for that. The Titans aren't just going to fire Vrabel if they can trade him, if they want to part ways. But at this point, I sit back and think, okay, if Vrabel – the last several coaches the Titans have had, if you ask, okay, if you get rid of him, who's immediately going after him, right? And Ken Wisenhunt, no. Malarkey, no. I mean, you can continue to go down this list. With Vrabel, the answer is yes, and a number of reasons for that. This is fascinating though because of the New England connections, the Patriot way, and all of this. And the visual that we saw during the bye. But also, let's just also mention that the reason he was there is because of the bye week. That is predetermined. This is the 7th time that Vrabel was up for the Patriots Hall of Fame, and he finally got in. And they're scheduling that ceremony based on the Titans' bye week, not just because the Patriots at home, and that's when Kraft is doing it. And he's always done the Hall of Fame for a halftime ceremony and the dinner the same way he did it for Brady as well. So, yeah, I mean, the connections to the Volen story / report / rumor mill and that day link up as far as just the obvious visual. But, I mean, it's not hard to think who would be after Mike Vrabel if he's available. The two that come to mind would be New England and Ohio State. And right now, Ryan Day is at Ohio State. Belichick is at New England. And both are in a fascinating spot because Day, while I don't think Vrabel would go back to college if he has the chance to stay in the NFL, Day is feeling, pressure to beat Michigan. And you have Belichick, who didn't even have the contract extension announced until Vrabel was coming to town. And that was also interesting timing with all of that.
Jonathan, you spend a lot of time talking to people around the country about football and everything. We're in the bubble here. What's the perception of Mike Vrabel outside our bubble here in Nashville?
Well, I mean, among the coaches who have not won a Super Bowl, he's among the top of the list. I mean, if you're ranking the coaches, he's somewhere between – I'm just thinking of all the coaches who have been there or been to a Super Bowl as a head coach. He's probably between 10 and 13, somewhere around in there, if you're just starting to list off that. And I think from a just a quick reference standpoint, he's probably higher on the list than that if we're just talking perception of what he is, what he's done, and the success that he's had. So, I think he's highly respected. A lot of that just stems from the attitude, the swagger, and the fact that he's had success from the time he was at Ohio State, ends up in the way he went about his career to now the coaching regiment and what he's done, winning Coach of the Year, doing so with a ton of success in 2019, 2020, and then having success with rosters that had no business really being very competitive given their injury situation. This year's different, and I think the idea that he could not be the head coach of the Tennessee Titans a year ago at this time was ludicrous. But I always mention this, Joe. I would have said the same thing about Robinson. If you're going to start mentioning division titles, number of wins, winning seasons, plus the fact that you go to the AFC Championship game and you have success in the playoffs a couple of years prior, the same accolades can be tacked onto Robinson's tenure here too. And Amy fired him in early December, 11 months ago, after giving him a big pay bump in all of that. So I also say this, though. This is just, at this point, a great debate and rumor. Volan's report is interesting, though, just based on, the mention of Carthon and the relationship with Vrabel. I will say this, though. Vrabel has the decision-making power in a lot of what's going on right now at St. Thomas Sports Park. And when you factor that in, this is more about, if you're going to actually have the discussion that we're having, it's not about the relationship with him and Kraft. We know it's great, right? It's not about him and Carthon because, again, I think we all agree Vrabel has the ability to say, here's the decision that we're making. Or if there's a disagreement, they just don't go with that guy. It's about the relationship between him and ownership. And that's something behind the scenes that you can come out and squash, or you can simply say, yeah, I'm under contract and I'm worried about moving forward this week against Tampa Bay. That allows the perception to grow, and they can end this pretty quickly if they want to.
But here's the deal, John. I don't fault him if he wants to go home. I mean, if that's where he wants to go, then let him go.
Sure.
Well, I got no problem.
Fine. Yeah, that's fine. But I would also say, he has said multiple times, this is the place that gave him his opportunity. I mean, say what you want about the coaching search. He was the guy whenever they hired him, when they did. And, he'd be replacing a guy that is the GOAT in Bill Belichick. So, but again, this is coming from the Boston media and not from Diana Rossini. So I'm thinking this is more about internal within the Patriots compound than it is Vrabel floating this out there.
Yeah, that's fair. Is this week in the quarterback decision, whether it's this week or next week, whenever Ryan Tannehill's healthy, is this the most important decision that Mike Vrabel's ever had to make in his tenure here?
It's a good question. I mean, to me, it's not a very difficult one, though, Chase.
It's not, but I think he's going to make it difficult.
Well, okay. Let's go back to the discussion we're having then. I don't know why you have to make it difficult, because to me, if I'm ownership, I'm just using my common sense here. I think ownership would be backing the idea of playing Will Levis based on what we've seen.
Right.
They're not going to back the idea of playing Malik Willis over Ryan Tannehill. But the flip side to this discussion can also be this, and just hear me out here. They're giving Tannehill plenty of time to rehab the ankle, and as long as Levis is going about this in a direction that gives the Titans a great chance to win, which I think they can win with him. I also think that they have to do it the same way that they were going to have to win with Ryan Tannehill, which is the top guys, their stars, quote unquote, are going to have to play like it and be the disruptors and the force, and they would have to be the breadwinners, which they're not doing on a consistent basis. They weren't winning at a great fashion or putting up a ton of points with Ryan Tannehill. And they scored 28 points for the first time since 2001 with Will Levis against the Falcons. Point being, if I'm moving down the road and down the path of, okay, where are we going next offseason where we have $100 million, that the top cap availability, now that the Chicago Bears have traded for Montez Sweat and they've given the extension, the Titans have the most amount of money. What are they doing at the quarterback position? If you found your guy to where you at least know we don't have to truly address that spot right from the jump, because Will Levis, it gives us a great chance to solve that question. If you figure that out, that is a huge, huge burden off the plate of the offseason. You don't figure that out by going back to the veteran at this point. If Levis is healthy and Tannehill is healthy and Levis has shown us that he deserves to be able to play right now, you don't go back to the veteran who isn't going to be here this offseason. So that's the common sense approach. But you just to play the other side of why they're doing it, or why Vrabel's doing it this way, we don't know the conversation that he's had with Tannehill behind the scenes. And it may be that it's like, hey, Levis is he's off and rolling. Make sure you're healthy. We may need you. We may not. And from the business side of things, that's what happens. By the way, Ryan Tannehill would understand that. He backed up Marcus Mariota and then took Marcus's job and never looked back. At this point, you would want to be able to say, Will Levis has done enough to where you can give him more of a leash and not have to look over the shoulder at Ryan Tannehill, who's rehabbing the ankle. And that's nothing against Ryan.
No.
But it's just where we are at this point of the Titans storyline going into a completely different era from a roster perspective.
Certainly going to be interesting. That is for sure. Jonathan, appreciate it as always. We'll do it again next week.
Yeah, always look forward to this, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great week.
You too. Jonathan Hutton from Outkick. Hot Mic with Hutton and Withrow is the show, weekdays 2 to 5 on 94.9 The Fan. We'll come back, put a bow on things, and get to celebrity birthdays as well here on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Predators fans, Brewhouse South in Cool Springs, Brewhouse 100 in Bellevue, and Brewhouse West on Charlotte Avenue are 102.5 The Game's official home for Predators watch parties. Catch all the games at Brewhouse and enjoy great specials on Blue Note Bourbon and Black Abbey Beer. We are your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit Coleman Tractor, your local Kubota dealer in Clarksville, Nashville, Paris, and White House today. Experience the thrill of gaming glory at Harrah's Casino and Hotel, just a little over 2 hours northwest of Nashville off I-24. Call 1-800-HARRAHS and reserve your room today to indulge in top-tier casino gaming, appetizing dining experiences, and their cutting-edge sports book. As a Caesar Rewards destination, every moment you spend at Harrah's Metropolis earns you points across the entire Caesars empire. It's your time to win with Harrah's Metropolis. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
West Coast Taco Shop features some of the best California-style Mexican food. And this week, you can try it for half off with Nashville's best deal of the week. Their burritos, nachos, quesadillas, and a variety of tacos are delicious. And once you try this authentic cuisine, you'll become a regular. They also have a salsa bar. And ask about their free live music nights. West Coast Taco Shop, Murfreesboro Pike in Nashville. Get half off now at theGameNashville.com/deals.
Yo, check this out.
Ah, Porvu. Imagine a wonderland, vast as the eye can see. We're talking a whopping 10,000 square feet, stocked with wine, spirits, and over 1,500 beers from around the globe. And if that's not enough, they've got you covered with a massive horde of ready-to-guzzle cocktails like High Noon.
Well, saddle up, partner. It's Porvu, the adult equivalent of a candy store. Open from 9 to 9 Monday through Saturday and from 10 to 6 on Sundays, too. Not leaving your sofa during the next big game? No worries, my jersey-wearing couch potato. You can place your orders at porvu.us or download their super snazzy app.
Just picture hockey night. He shoots, he scores, we toast.
We're talking about a good old round of tequila shots, of course.
Tequila!
Porvu has it all. Tequila is always a big hit, just like Uncle Frank at the family parties.
Wine, spirits, beers, mixers, barware, gifts, party supplies, and more.
Curbside pickup at absolutely zero charge, mind you, and home delivery.
Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville, just off Vietnam Vets, exit 7.
Porvu. It's all Frenchy and fancy, meaning for you.
Score!
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuits seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-406-0881. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-406-0881. That's 800-406-0881. Again, 800-406-0881.
Hey, if you missed our show, you can get it on demand. Just search for the Chase and Big Joe Show podcast on Apple, Spotify, or any podcast platform.
Chase and Big Joe are on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. Appreciate the interaction today. Always enjoy that. You guys make this a lot of fun.
Here we go, Chase.
Chase, you suck.
Chase,
you suck. Yeah, I miss this sometimes, even though I like gold on the ceiling at Preds games. Daniel Jones out for the year, torn ACL. And so the Giants' terrible season gets worse, even though Danny Dimes has not been Danny Dimes for sure. So they
got
lose
paid,
him.
baby. Didn't
He
care
got
anymore.
paid.
I know it's like, well, he got injured. I get that. But you're going to tell me he's playing at the same level he played the last 2 years?
He's been hurt all year.
Absolutely not.
So
baby
there you
got
go.
paid.
Nicholas Petit-Frere having shoulder surgery as well, so don't know what that means.
That's a rough one because you're a lineman. You use you're reaching, you're pushing all the time for against defensive linemen. I hope his surgery goes well. I hope it's not intrusive, reconstructive, anything like that, and he gets back out there because he's a big boy, got some talent, and hopefully he can get back there in due time.
Yes, indeed. With that, let's get to celebrity birthdays.
You're ready. Okay. Caught me off guard there,
Well,
Jason.
we're running out of time. We got to go.
Oh, gosh, we are. All right, here we go. Celebrity birthdays today. First birthday up. You ready, Dr. Crane? Here we go. Sally Field.
Mace.
Forrest Gump's mom. How old's Sally Field?
Again, I feel like we just had her.
Yeah, a year ago.
I know. 75.
Going 76.
77. Dr. Crane
nice.
did the Wheel of Fortune on you. Not Wheel of Fortune. The Price is
Yeah,
Right.
I was about to say.
I don't know what's going on. Ethan Hawke. Great actor. Ethan Hawke.
Like from Training Day?
Yes.
That's a great movie.
Dead Poet Society.
Shoe Program. D Mace. Ethan Hawke. 58.
We're going to go 63.
53. Well done. Actress Thandie Newton. She's in all the Gardens of the Galaxy. She was in 2012 movie. Great actress.
31.
I'm going to go 42.
51.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty
Well,
close. Rebecca Romaine. Used to be Rebecca Romaine Stamos.
She can get it.
She can. What exactly is she getting?
Groceries.
Dinner at Denny's.
Groceries, even worse.
dinner at Denny's. I don't know.
Rebecca Romaine. Oh, man.
54.
Going 51.
51 exactly.
Nice.
Dr. Crane's up 2-0. Well done. Another birthday is Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. 34.
38.
35.
Ah, finally.
Can you name a movie she's been in?
Emma Stone?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't she in Harry Potter? Or no, that's the other one.
No, she was in Superbad.
Oh, yeah, with Jonah
That's
Hill.
Right. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Actress Laurie Singer. She was in Footloose. She was Kevin Bacon's girlfriend in Footloose.
63.
I have D-Base dates behind me. I'm going to go 67.
66. Dr. Crane's
Nice.
up 3-1. Well done, Dr. Crane. Let's see here. There's a lot of people I've never heard of. Oh, singer-songwriter lives here in Nashville. Ben Rector. How old is Ben Rector?
44.
Ben Rector. I'm going to go the price a little lower. We're going 42.
Ooh, 37. The lead singer of Living Colour, Corey Glover.
Cult of Personality. 47.
52.
59. And our final birthday today, newscaster Maria Shriver. Used to be married to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Are they not married anymore? I didn't know that.
No, he had a little fling with the
that's right.
housekeeper.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
then she's like, you know what? Take care. He's like, I want to be back. How old is Maria?
64.
I'm going to go 67.
68. Dr.
Nice.
Crane wins 4-1.
Nice, Dr. Crane.
Thank you very much.
All right. That will do it for us. Lots to unpack with Mike Vrabel and the rumors to Boston, Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. They will cover all of that coming up next. We'll see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow.
Hey, don't forget our guys out there. We love you guys. If you're struggling, please go talk to somebody. As I say every show, our world's a better place because you're out there. If you need to reach out to somebody, Chase and I are always here from you. We've heard from a few guys. Well, let's let you know that we love you, and this world really is a better place with you guys here. So
Absolutely.
go talk to somebody.
Amen to that for sure. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 9, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Attention all fire protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC experts. Jarrett Companies are looking for experienced field technicians like you. Tired of working for your large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett's Fire Protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC divisions are owned and operated by Nashville natives who want you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we'll also provide you with top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and our business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or